Guess I gotta find some music.
Yeah, I guess so. Welcome to this new session of D&D, this new group of D&D that we haven't really made like a great name for yet, but we're codenamed Keepers of the Candles for now. This group will be going through some of the adventures from the Candlekeep Mysteries book that came out like last year or something like that. Some modifications to them, of course, as I see fit. Especially this first one actually will be pretty heavily modified, so it serves as a good intro for you all into this group and to get you guys to Candlekeep for the first time. So a little backstory for the group. These five adventurers you see here in front of you all have a reason to be a part of this group. Whether it's just it's convenient and you need money and this group wanted to pick you up in some of your cases, or most of you want to get into Candlekeep very specifically. You want knowledge, you want information about anything you can get your hands on in this world that we're in. You have different reasons for searching for that information, but Candlekeep has so much information that it serves as a pretty unifying goal for you all. Your current goal is to find a book that is rare enough to count as a ticket into Candlekeep. Candlekeep is a massive and mysterious library that will only let you entry if you actually give them a new book they don't have in their library yet. There's a whole bunch of rules and stipulations for what counts as a new book, what is rare enough, what is new enough, what is unique enough. Is a new edition of a book unique enough? They might judge that a little bit and go back and forth. There's some gray areas to it as well, but it's such a massive library that at this point it's very hard to find a book they don't already have. So that's what you're all in search of. Something unique, something important. Let's go through the group real quick. Let's start at the top left with Darbeck. If you could introduce yourself.
So just like some background in the character.
Yeah, just tell us about your character, who he is, as much as your background as you want to go into. Um,
Yes, my character's name is Darbeck. He was built by a dwarf to be a street magician, and when he failed one of his tricks, he was cast aside and went from tavern to tavern searching for whether it be money, information, or knowledge, but he basically just wanted to keep performing and got whatever he could for his tricks. And he decided to join the campaign when he heard about this massive wealth of knowledge.
all right, thank you very much. And was it Queniana? Yeah, did I say that right?
Pretty much, yeah. Quiniana, somewhere in there.
Queniana. Please introduce your character as well.
Okay. So Quiniana is a bit on the short side for a gnome. And she sticks out because her skin and her hair are both pale silvery blue and not the normal skin tones of most gnomes. And she's in her mid 120s, so fully grown but not quite getting towards middle age. And yeah, she walks with a sense of confidence and is used to sticking out because of her skin tone.
All right, thank you for the introduction. We'll move on to the bottom left with Zinro.
Zimro is a ranger elf. He is pretty average build for an elf, 5'10". He's got nice blonde hair and green eyes. He's about 200 years old, so he's been an adult for about 100 years. He's not as quite as old as the old timer of the group. But he does have a connection to him. His band of rangers is connected to the Circle of Stars druids. So he's actually joining the party as a bodyguard and a partner of Trevor's character, who he will soon introduce. But before this, when he was younger, he was defender of the edge of civilization, as most rangers do.
All right, sounds cool. So lots of experience wandering the wilds, of course. Soren, could you please introduce your character as well, if I pronounced that correctly? I hope.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Hi, everyone. I'm playing Soren. He's a great horned owlin. He comes from a sect of clerics tasked by Melil to investigate a very odd occurrence where a god of knowledge was seemingly struck from everyone's memory a couple millennia ago, which is really weird. Now, because no one could remember this god, he's looking for ancient texts that may lead to information about what exactly happened. He is probably about 25 years old. I actually just looked up how long owlins live for, and I'm very happy they don't live as long as owls. Otherwise, he'd die at 12, which seems rather quick.
Yeah, that's not much time to complete such a grand mission, for sure.
No, though it would be very funny to say that my character is 5 years old.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like if you play a goblin character and they're like adult by 9, like, oh, yeah. Oops.
Live fast, die young.
Guess so. Is it Zandri or Xandri, would you say?
Let's go Xandri.
Xandri, please introduce yourself.
So Xandri is a forest gnome, tall for most forest gnomes, at a towering 2'8", and he is up there in age. He's a good 300, give or take some. It got to a point where he stopped caring about counting. He's this, as Ryan had mentioned earlier, he is a Circle of Stars druid, and he's also a devout follower of the moon goddess. Is it Selûne?
Yes, Selûne.
Selûne, which is pretty evident on some of the markings on his armor. He has been pretty much alone for a good 150 years, and the 100 before that, he was studying under the master that Ryan, or that Zinro's group had mentioned, and eventually he got to a point where he had nothing left to work on between studying about the goddess or stars, as that's kind of been his big interest. So he finally just went, screw it, and went out into the world for the first time in a couple centuries. Had no idea where to go, but he did have notes about Candlekeep and about the group of elf rangers, so he started there.
All right. Yeah, Candlekeep is known far and wide, though as mysterious as it is, many people would know the name Candlekeep, but not know much about it. Because not many people go inside, and even fewer speak of it outside of, having been within it. So you all have either reasons to look for knowledge in Candlekeep, or knowledge in general, or, well, seeking a reason for your life, seeking something new, seeking a purpose. It sounds like. So this group has come together for those reasons. And we'll see how you guys do here. Looking forward to seeing how this group does. We'll say, just for the sake of things, that you guys have been adventuring together for a little bit, but it's been nothing exciting. You've all been sort of traveling and trying to find any news, any rumors about any rare books that might be about. Any... Excuse me, sorry, my cat is going crazy. You're looking for... Yeah, she's back here. I don't know why she chose right now to go crazy.
So far, the most exciting thing has been finding Darbeck in a random tavern.
Darbeck is a pretty interesting character. As far as you all can tell, fully robotic humanoid, which, I mean... The gnomes and dwarves both, especially the gnomes, make a lot of automated machinery, and they have high skill in tinkering and such. But Darbeck seems unique. He seems to actually have a personality and a will to him. He doesn't just follow commands. He has his own. He's his own person, which is kind of crazy. So that's definitely an
How tall
character.
is Darbeck? Sorry.
Oh, good. Pretty tall, right? If I remember correctly, like almost 7 feet, 6.5.
Darbeck.
Sorry, I was picking up food. Yes, he is. I didn't plan this, but he is 6'9".
There we go.
The
Nice.
the
I'm
standard
gonna go ahead and
deviation on
say-
height in this group is off the charts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Xandri is fucking terrified of Darbeck still. A giant robot is not something I don't think he's seen.
They don't have those in the woods.
How,
I don't have those
tall
in the
is,
woods.
Sorry.
No, they're good.
How tall is Soren, by the way? I don't know if you already mentioned that.
I did not.
You picture
I
him
don't know,
as kinda
5'5".
5'5"? Okay, so he's actually he's more like human size. Cool. I was picturing him as
Yeah,
like a little bit
he's-
smaller and rounder for some reason.
Spirit from
Yeah, I figure
Avatar,
they're pretty
picture.
wide.
Oh,
Yeah, probably pretty wide. He's probably a pretty big lad then. Damn.
Yeah, like a 6-foot owl would be very intimidating.
Yes, absolutely. But you managed to pick a very cute picture for him, so he's not that intimidating. But if he needs to be, I'm sure.
No, but his eyes are that open all the time. It's a little unsettling.
Excellent.
And sometimes his head goes just upside down.
So other than finding Darbeck, you guys haven't been very successful. You've chased some rumors of rare books, and they would turn out to either be things Candlekeep already has, or just like journals, or maybe the rumors were just rumors and it didn't lead to anything at all. But you've handled plenty of odd jobs around the place, just mercenary work, little bits of going off and handling favors for people, whether they, need the local wolf population called down a bit, or there's a missing person case, different things like that you can handle, and they help you pay the bills, help you feed yourself while you're on this journey for knowledge.
We tried to find some bookworms, but the lead was a dead end.
Yes, exactly. And that's actually what led you to this town that you find yourselves at today. The town of Marin is a pretty it's not a massive, it's not nearly large enough to be called a city. It's definitely a town, but it's pretty bustling nonetheless, because it's situated right on a crossroads that sits not just at a major crossroads of two major roads, but also that crossroads crosses a river, and Marin is like the center of Marin is around like a large bridge that crosses that river, and it's one of the only crossings over this river for miles around. So it's a very important crossroads for travel across two major roads, and has quite a lot of commerce going through it at all times. Also a good place to pick up on information and rumors because of that. You've all been here probably a few times at this point, I'd say. Some of you might even be from around here. I would say that I think Xandri would be from around here-ish. I think your circle was probably from the nearby woods, and you probably met everyone else in this relative region. I don't think a group this small on this level would have traveled too far at this point. But perhaps the rest of you have traveled to this location rather than being from this area. I guess that would make Zinro probably from this area as well. And the rest of you, I'm not sure. Maybe Darbeck. Do you think you would be from this region? Do you think you would have traveled very far? Maybe the group just picked it up, maybe even in this town?
I probably would have traveled very far from where I originated
Okay, that makes sense.
because of the threat of being disassembled.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you're from far away. You don't know the region.
I feel like you can just walk, right? You just go.
Just go and
What
go
do you-
as a robot.
Just like background, do you need double A's or triple A's or?
I need nothing except for 6 hours of inactivity every night.
Oh, wow.
I only need 4. Get wrecked.
Absolutely wrecked, destroyed.
But I am not
This nerd-
unconscious when I'm inactive.
I'm not
I can
either.
still
This
I
nerd
need
needs
to.
food.
I'll leave it up to you, Soren, if you think you were from far away or nearby as well. I think based on Quiniana's backstory, you're probably not from this area, as far as I can tell.
No, I went to look up a map of the Forgotten Realms, but there's way too many names on this map for me to figure out a useful one.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't even necessarily put a name to it. Just say if you're from near or far for now, because this town isn't actually a real town in the Forgotten Realms either. It just kind of splattered.
Far. I imagined a giant hollow tree
Awesome, I like that.
somewhere.
What were you saying, Quiniana?
Cornelia's been traveling for the last century, give or take a few years, so she might be familiar with the area, but she's definitely not from around here.
Okay, for the last century, give or take. So you might have passed through here a few times over the last century.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Okay. So there's been a lot of change in the region over the last century or so, actually. So it'll be
Well,
important to know who's been around for that rough time period. But we'll get to that later.
It's probably been a good 50 years since he's been through this area.
Okay, good to know. So, you guys are heading into this small town of Marin. It's sort of, as the other features I described, it's also built into like the shadow of a hill nearby. Not like into the hill, but the hill is tall enough that certain times of day, the shadow definitely casts over part of the town. And they actually have a pretty bustling mining operation into that hill for copper. It's pretty new. It hasn't been around for that long. It was actually probably just like up and coming last time you were in the area, Quiniana, and now it's kind of exploded into a huge town. I mean, like I said, not a city yet, but pretty big for a town, crossroads town.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty well organized and pretty well built because the mining company that sort of helped kick this town into gear helped organize the construction of it. Instead of people just plopping down houses willy-nilly, it's all been very planned and structured. That bridge that I mentioned earlier goes over a river called the Misty Stream. So yeah, as you guys approach this town, you've probably been here a few times in the past few months or so, as you've been adventuring together and just getting jobs from the people around here. You notice something a little different. And I'm actually going to say that I think Xandri would pick up on it first, having pretty high perception stats, relatively, and just being a druid in touch with nature. Actually, Zinra would probably pick up on it really well as well, also being a ranger and therefore in touch with nature and having pretty good perception stats. As you walk through the forest towards the town, there is a raven in a tree pecking away at something. As you look a little closer, it's an old and tattered book wedged into a couple of the branches of the tree. And the raven's just sitting there, just pecking at it, and like trying to almost claw at it a little bit. But I mean, it's a raven; it doesn't have like that many appendages to work with, so it's just using its beak repeatedly.
Can I fly up and grab it?
You can, yeah. And as you get up closer, once one of them points it out to you, as you get closer, the raven just flies away. It just you spook it, and it flies off in the distance very quickly. And I'll actually drop an image of the book in chat. If you click on that, you can blow it up larger if you want to see it. Yeah, that's the book.
A wooden cover.
It's got a wooden cover. It's pretty old. A lot of the pages are like they're actually a lot of the pages are missing, I should say, as well. But a lot of the pages that remain are like wrinkled and water damaged, and some of the edges are frayed and torn. And yeah, but you have that book now.
It is called a Necronomicon. Now, I guess as I'm drifting down, I'll open it up and take a peek at the first couple pages.
All right. What languages do you know?
Common and Celestial. I meant to have Common and the Celestial, and then it gave me a third, so Draconic, because that seems like an old language that would be useful. But it says just Common and Draconic, so I meant to do Common Celestial first.
Oh, I might have imported that incorrectly. Let me double check that. I will pop Celestial on there as well. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah. So you actually would recognize the script here because I believe Celestial uses the same script as this, but you can't actually make out the words. You could read it aloud. You'd know the sounds it would make if it were in Celestial, but it unfortunately it's not intelligible to you.
Sure, I will read some of it out loud because it seems faster than handing it around.
All right. Languages, everybody.
Common, Dwarvish, and Thieves' Cant.
All right.
Common, gnomish, and undercommon.
All right.
Zandri.
All right, common, celestial, druidic, gnomish.
Celestial, common, dwarvish, elvish, orc.
All right. It is an Elvish, and it reads a little bit strangely as Soren starts to read over it, and is just pronouncing things aloud. It sounds pretty broken because Soren doesn't know Elvish, and also this is a very old Elvish. This is some archaic old Elvish that some of the words aren't really commonly used anymore. It hasn't been around for a while, but it's understandable enough that you can make out what Soren is trying to say with it. And Soren, as you read the book,
Reading, can I cast Detect Magic on
you
the
may.
book?
Yeah,
So I can cast that at will.
yeah. So you can pull that up, and you'll be able to see the auras of magical objects in the area. Yeah, it has a just a very slight, very slight, illusory magic over it. You can see the aura of that. But yeah, as you read it, Soren, it's like handwritten. It's like splotchy brown ink that's kind of unsteady handwriting, and it's a journal. Zinro begins to hear as Soren starts to read through it. It's not very long right now because most of the pages of this book are torn out. You can actually see like stubs of the pages along the rest of the book, and only the first couple pages are actually whole here. The journal tells a story of an elven woman who fell off her horse and broke her leg. But thankfully, before she starved, she was rescued by a group of travelers called Vistani. And they took her into their caravan while her leg healed. And that's where the journal sort of cuts off at that point. Additionally, Soren, as you flip through these pages, inside the cover is a map. Pop that, and oops, here we go, it's uploading. So if you guys want to pop that out, save it, whatever you want to do with it. That map is inside the cover of the book. So you may look that over if you want and see what you can find from that.
Save it.
This is neat.
Is there a way to save it other than like taking a screen cap of it?
Let me drop it in Foundry, actually. That might be easier.
I like the which way this way.
Yes. That actually doesn't want to... Here, what if I copy it from here? There we go. There, if I pop it in Foundry, then maybe you'll be able to save it easier from there.
In Foundry?
Not in Foundry. It is in Foundry. If I save it in Discord, it might be a little easier. There we go.
Oh, I can copy paste it in my journal. Look at that.
There you go.
Guys, I don't know if this is important, but that thing has a little bit of a magic glow, and it's illusion magic. So, just as a heads up, might be nothing, might be something.
So maybe it's not even a book.
I don't know. I can detect magic, I can't dispel it.
If it's an illusion magic, would I feel anything from it, for instance?
You could give me an Arcana check to see if you can. Now that it's been pointed out to you that it's an illusion, I'll give it to you at advantage, actually. Alright. Yeah, I mean, what Quiniana says makes sense. It looks like it's got some kind of... It could be some sort of illusion, but I mean, she didn't really describe it as like a huge field of illusion or anything like that, and Doesn't really seem like much of anything crazy to you. I will say, you know illusions very well, and you can usually feel through them. And this still feels like a book to you.
Okay. I will communicate this to the party.
Do you mind if I look at it for a minute? I might maybe be able to figure out something about the magic. I've been looking into magic for a while now.
Yeah, if you
Sure.
want to give me an Arcana check as well while you do so. Also at advantage since you already detected the magic on it. There we go. You look it over and you try to find any slight detail that might be off about the thing or whatever. And you actually notice that it's a pretty subtle enchantment. It's nothing dangerous. It's basically just a little cosmetic shift in the book that causes whenever it's left still for a moment, it's almost like wind starts to rustle it a little bit, but it's not actually being rustled. It just looks like it. Almost like the pages are starting to turn themselves and stuff, but it's not really happening.
Is it trying to turn to a specific page, or it's just general motion?
Just general motion, I will say. With a 22, pretty high check. Just general motion is all you can see there.
Okay. Well, best I can tell, the text is staying the same. All I can see is that the pages move around when you leave it alone. We're probably fine. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna, like, change the words on us the next time we look at it.
Enchanted to put on a book.
Zinro, you're the one who can read it, right?
That's correct.
Why don't you keep it, just because I don't know what it says, so might as well have you keep an eye on it.
Of course. There does appear to be some instructions in the bottom right here.
Is the map in common, or is it in Elvish?
The map, yeah, actually, let me mention it. The map is in common.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So we all have seen this then. Whoever has looked at it.
Yeah, map is in common.
Same handwriting as the journal?
Give me an investigation check. It looks like it was done with a different tool. It looks like it was done with much better much better inks. It's not like the splotchy brown ink that's covering the rest of the pages. This looks and it also looks a little bit fancier handwriting. Like either it's somebody else's handwriting, or it's a lot more care was taken into it to like make it this calligraphy art type writing and stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Excuse me, you said the book was old. Does this page look newer?
You can give me an investigation check as well. This page does look a little bit newer. Yeah, it's got a little less water damage to it, and it's actually like pretty much like pasted to the inside of the cover instead of being bound by like little strips of wire like the rest of the pages are.
In any of the quick notes that you see in the book, do you see any mentions of this map? Because it seems to be newer than the rest of the book. Okay.
I heard. Can you say the first step we said? I'm trying to like manage so many things right now. I'm trying to understand the map.
Looking through the notes in the pages, since it seems to be a journal, do you see any mentions of these places in the journal?
Do I see mentions of the places in the journal?
The journal cuts off pretty early, and all you can read about are this person, this elf woman falling off her horse, breaking her leg, and getting picked up by travelers who rescue her before she starves to death.
There really isn't much here that I see besides the story that Soren read to us when we found the book. I don't see anything mentioning any of these places. But I see what you mean now that I look closer. This page just kind of look a little different from the rest.
Do I recognize any of the landmarks or names on the map?
You can give me a history check. They sound, I mean, the one thing that sounds familiar is Which Way. You feel like you've heard of that before, but you've never visited it, and you've never, it's just like on the tip of your tongue, you know, it's like right in the back of your mind, like Which Way rings a bell. I've heard of Which Way before, but there's no context for it.
Whenever I ask directions.
Any of you guys heard of a place called Which Way? Sounds familiar. Last time I was coming through this area was a long time ago, and this map may not even be local. But it couldn't hurt to check.
Should I roll if I know that area, since I have also done a lot of traveling?
Anybody can roll if they want to. If you're from the area and you want to roll this, you can make it at advantage. If you're not from the area, I'm going to say it's just a straight roll. Their history
Okay.
check.
History check, not from the area.
Anyone else rolling here before I call it?
I'm taking a bet that Zanju does not know much outside of like the very small sphere he's been in.
That's fair.
So if the map is old enough, it could be from his traveling days.
This is what, history check?
History check.
He didn't really
if you want to,
travel that much. He just went deeper into his own woods.
And Zinro, because you're
Okay,
from the
fair.
area, this would be at advantage. Thank you.
Okay, so it's still below Darbeck.
Pretty good though. And
Yeah.
actually, between Darbeck and Zinro, you guys kind of put some things together, actually. Zinro, you've been to this place. You've been to Which Way a few decades ago, but when you went there, it was already abandoned. It's not really an actual place anymore. It's all like rotting houses and just foundations left out to rot, and things like that. It's a ghost town. And Darbeck, you actually sort of in your travels, you've had plenty of time on your hands. You make good conversation with people. You put on tricks for people, and that gets people to talk about things. And you're seeking knowledge. You're seeking information. You're seeking to learn about things. So it would make sense you'd gather some information about the local areas while you were traveling and just get some of the local history. And you actually were told a bit of the story of Which Way with that high of a history check. Actually, you're a little bit lucky that somebody managed to tell you some of that information. Which Way was a village built around a river crossing, very similar to this place, to Malin. And it was abandoned about 6 decades ago at this point. And all that remains now are broken down wagons, rotten, cobweb-filled buildings. The bridge that was there has washed away, and the only foundations remain. Anything of value everyone's pretty sure has been looted long ago. And people are pretty sure, I'll say with a 17, which was the highest DC I set for gathering information on this town, actually. You nailed it exactly. You actually know that the story of Which Way is that when Malin was founded decades ago, it's like 6 decades ago ish, or when it started to be founded, because it was at a more major road and had a more like a better bridge and just had a more bustling economy very quickly in general. Less and less traffic started to take the Which Way bridge, and they kind of died out from nobody ever going there ever and no trade happening. So most of the people that used to live in Witchway sort of moved up to Malin instead, and it just died. And it was called Witchway because the person who founded it was a very accomplished alchemist. That is the final fact you learn from a DC 17 history check.
Do I know the alchemist's name?
You don't, actually.
Edward Elric. Just kidding. As the wanderer that Zinro is, and pretty good at survival, perception. Does he remember how far which way is from where he is now, or recognize any of the landmarks on the map? Is there like a check I can just see if I know it? Like, oh yeah, we're near, like, or can I look around for some of the?
You do know where Witchway is, actually, as established by your history check, and from here, it's about a day's journey.
In which do I know, like, which direction and all that? Like,
Oh, you've been there before.
Is there
yeah.
a way I can determine where we are on this map?
You'd be
like by
off to the north.
Okay. So.
If I'm reading the directions right, it looks like we have to go through Witchway, past whatever the upper landmark is, down to the bridge, through the volcano-looking thing, and then to the house in the swamp. Because it says follow the trail. I could be wrong. But in case this is supposed to be like a pick things up along the way kind of deal, do we want to just, like, find which way and see if we can find this trail?
It seems like if you look on the map, there are ravens. I don't know if the raven that we just saw is a sign or something.
Yeah, fair point. Also, evil beware. I don't know if that means beware of evil or if you're evil, beware. Probably both.
It's been a few decades, but I do remember having traveled to Witchway in the past. I believe it's about a day's journey from here. So we could travel towards there if we'd like and see if we learn anything.
Sure. Maybe keep an eye out for more pages of this book while we're at it. If we can fill in a whole journal, it might be rare enough.
That is possible.
I agree with Zinro. I heard about Witchway, and the town was basically abandoned because traffic got too heavy and people didn't want to go there anymore. So I heard most of the treasure was probably taken, but wouldn't be worth getting there to start our journey.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the treasure's in Witchway. It sounds like Witchway needs to be a starting point along a trail. Again, if I'm reading this right. Either way, sounds like Witchway's a good idea if you guys know where it is.
I know of it. That would be Zinro, who said he could lead us there.
What do you think, old timer?
Well, it's gonna be dicking around in this city. I see the word treasure on this map. So fuck it.
Well, I'm stuck with him and he agrees. Sounds like we're going. Soren?
That sounds good.
All right. So, You guys are taking the journey down to Witchway. It's going to be about a day's travel, and by the time you get there, it'll definitely be nightfall. Are you guys prepared for a journey that'll end in nightfall? And do you guys have, whether it's tents or just bedrolls or at least food, or what do you guys got? You guys prepared?
Would an adventuring pack have bedroll in it?
If you check your inventory, you can also check your backpack. If you actually middle click the backpack to open it, that'll have stuff in it. If you have a container
Whoa, that's cool.
So if you don't have something to sleep in, that might be worth picking up while you're here in town.
Do I need something to sleep in?
Actually, Zinro and Darbeck don't technically, because Darbeck just goes into like a stasis mode, and Zinro has a trance. So
I just chill.
Yeah.
Does not seem like my backpack has a bedroll, so I should probably buy one.
Okay, they're pretty cheap. A single bedroll is 1 gold piece. I can throw that in your inventory if you want.
Sure, I'll take care of the gold side of things.
All right. There you go. 1 bedroll for you. Anyone else needs stuff while we're in town? Everybody make sure they got food, water, all that stuff.
Easily, I don't need any. So
That's true.
it.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
All right. So,
Well, I should have rations. I don't know why it's not.
Mine are in my backpack, but I don't know how to use them in the backpack.
Yeah, it looks like yours are in your backpack as well, Koniana.
Okay, give me stuff to...
In the backpack,
Okay.
if you hit the little edit button, like the pencil on a square kind of icon, you can decrease the quantity in
Oh, okay.
a ration item there.
So if I want 4 Goodberry, Sprig of Mistletoe, is that something I can look for while we travel? Is that something I can buy from a
Actually,
shop that sells plant? Or,
you have a staff in your inventory, which satisfies the requirement of a spellcasting focus for druid spells. So you can basically just cast it through your staff, and that will.
And it just works and use.
Yeah.
Okay.
A focus, like a spellcasting focus, takes the place of any material components like sprigs of mistletoe or pixie dust or whatever it might be. Anything that's like an item, you can just use a focus instead.
That's cool.
Unless it has a gold cost, then it's different. But yep.
Alrighty.
So if you wanted to Goodberry, you could definitely Goodberry.
I'm not going to cast it right now. I just want to make sure. I wanted to make sure I have the ability to cast it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Cool.
Multiple people with Goodberry is probably not a terrible thing to have.
Do you have it too?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of berries.
Apparently, it can.
Wait.
What can you make in a day?
10 per first level spell slot is Goodberry, and that satisfies 1 person per day. And if you need to cast it multiple times, you could. But one thing to note for the cleric and druid in the party, as far as spells go, you go to your spellbook tab on your character sheet. This may have already been covered for you in the other campaign, but if not, there's a little prepared filter you can click on at the top right that'll show you what spells you actually have prepared for the day. And if you want to change out what spells you're prepared at the end of a rest, you can just right click on prepare something and then right click prepare something else. And that should take power. Because you have the entire spell list listed, and you're that's valid for your class and subclass and stuff. So just the ones that are highlighted are the ones you can actually cast, but the rest are there for if you want to swap to them.
After rests.
Yep, after a long rest,
Cool.
You can change which ones you have active. All right, so it's not necessarily a rough journey. Zinro's a pretty good guide, but actually, let's roll for that, Zinro. Can you give me a survival check for leading the group through the wilderness? Excellent. Zinro's a great guide. Sinro, actually, one thing we didn't mention, I don't think. Where are your bees? They just like hover
Oh,
around you? Do they like cling to
um,
something? Do you have a hive?
mm, gosh, crap. I wanted to do something with a hat, but I mean, obviously the character doesn't have one. But we'll say
Like that?
a hidden compartment in a hat.
Sweet. Okay, sounds good. So you
Maybe
gotta,
I'll find a better like picture, but
yeah. If you
either
find,
way.
if you ever find one, just let me know. But either way, well, I like that. So you got like a little ranger hat on, and you can open it up, let some bees out. Cool. So you lead the. I just randomly thought of that for some reason. I don't know why, but you lead the party down through the woods. There's not really any roads that go this way anymore. Wishway's been dead for decades at this point. You know, like occasionally people will wander through here, and there's little trails where, you know, like deer trails and things like that, but it's nothing crazy. So you guys are pretty much roughing it through the wilderness here. But still, Zinro is confident in a day's journey, and a day's journey it is. It is getting close to night as you approach Witchway. The sun is setting, and it is a pretty forested area, so it's already getting shadowy pretty quick.
Probably camp for the night. And do we would I have heard rumors of like creatures or bandits in the area?
Rumors of creatures or bandits in the area. I'm gonna say you can choose either history or persuasion actually for this one to like talk around the town for that information. You did drop by town to pick up some things, so maybe you could ask around a bit. Okay. Yeah, so with a 15 persuasion, just asking around a bit. It's the usual in the area. You know, the woods are never truly safe in the Forgotten Realms. There are always, you know, animals a little bit more aggressive than you'd expect, or there's occasionally spirits or things, or who knows when a monster could strike. But these woods are generally somewhat tame. But nobody really goes here anymore. These woods, there's not many rumors from this direction. So it could be anything down here, really. So,
Barbara, do you need like when you do your inaction thing, like can you still use your eyes and watch and stuff, or do you need to like zone out?
Yes. Wait, which one is it called? Which Century's Rest? When you take a long rest, you must spend at least 6 hours in an inactive, motionless state rather than sleeping. In this state, you appear inert, but it doesn't render you unconscious, and you can still hear and see as normal.
Can we just make you sentries so that the rest of us can get a full night's sleep?
I would probably, I don't know what Jordan is going to have me do for this, but it would probably be like one perception check and then a second one at disadvantage.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But if you agree to take on the watch for the night, that's up to you.
If you want one of us to spell you in shifts, we can do that. Just, you know, if you can just sit there and stare at whatever's out there, that would be pretty cool.
I can do that.
All right. So you guys are you guys gonna take shifts? Because it would be about 4 shifts for actually, depending on how you organize it, it could be fewer shifts. Because 3 of you, Quiniana, Soren, and Zandri, need at least 6 hours of sleep and then 2 hours of light activity, such as a watch, in order to complete a long rest. The other 2 have a little bit narrower requirements for a long rest. So it's up to you guys how you want to organize that, or if you just want Darbek to handle the watch by himself.
Would Darbek lose like concentration a few hours in if we left him alone?
Well, that really just depends on how well he rolls.
What do you think, Darbek? You think one of us would be better at keeping watch. A few of us can do a couple hours to spell you out if you want a break.
Yeah, I mean, I can do 2 hours of watch, but then I would be in my inactive state, so I could still hear and see, so I could help out with whoever's watching, but I don't really know how it would go.
Let's just set a normal watch rotation then.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So who's taking the first watch then? Maybe just Darbeck takes first watch, you said, and then enters the extra state thing?
Sure.
Sure.
Who's taking second watch?
Soren will.
And third watch?
I can do that.
And last watch.
I can do that one.
All right. Sounds good. So, it actually kind of makes sense for Zinro to be up with Darbeck at first too, since you're both gonna have less sleep requirements. So Zinro and Darbeck, please each of you give me a perception check, or one of you can take advantage. That's up to you two.
Ooh, and Darbeck, did you say Sinra?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. Okay. Perception.
Did one of us want to do it at advantage, or do we want to each roll?
So one of us had okay. Up to you.
I guess let's each roll. See how it goes.
All right.
That was so bad. I have plus
Oh.
6.
I'll also ask one more thing about your sleeping arrangements here. You guys pretty much reached which way, and then you're camping kind of like a little outside it, basically. And did you start a campfire?
I guess when we were approaching the town, did we see any buildings in the town that would be kind of a little bit more protected than the woods?
There are a couple buildings that have not completely collapsed into themselves.
Is there something that I could roll to see if they're close to collapsing?
I'd say investigation, if you wanted to get up close and like take a look at them.
Roll for civil engineering.
Yeah.
And my bee swarm go and look for a good house.
That depends
Can
on
they
what your
relay
features.
information to me? How does that work?
That depends on how the feature's worded.
The
Gathered
bees just
swarm.
lead you to a really nice beehive.
I don't
If
think
I-
they can. It doesn't. I don't
What
see
are the-
anywhere in the feature that says they can.
It just
give
says assist
information.
you in battle.
So what is is that like a specific name for what the bees are, like spell wise?
They are literally bees that like attack stuff that I attack.
No, I just meant like what's the name of like the spell's
Gathering
ability or
Swarm?
whatever. Okay.
But there's
Making
also
sure.
swarm hand, which I don't really understand. I don't know if they take the
So-
shape of my hand or if my
Swarm
hand controls
hand-
them.
You get essentially the effects of the mage hand spell, but instead of being like a spectral like ghost hand that you're sending out to do
Just
things
a-
for you, it's just like a hand made of bees. Yeah.
And I can use it to like manipulate things or
Yeah.
punch something or I don't know.
Not well. It's not very strong. It could like lift a couple pounds or like open a door or flip a switch, but it's not like a.
Okay, so
yeah.
it's like a light utility use
It,
type of ability.
Yeah, it says it on the spell. If you open it up, it kind of tells you it's like 30 feet away. You can manipulate objects and stuff, but nothing too crazy.
10 pounds.
Yeah.
Too
You can
bad
lift up something and bring it to
Soren
you.
isn't owl sized.
You could have your bees fetch things for you.
I could have my bees like carry Soren places. But Soren can fly, so
Yes, that's true.
If I used find familiar, could I send in like a bird?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's do that.
So your find familiar as a druid actually uses up one of your uses of wild shape, just as a note, and that it should do it for you automatically, but just letting you know.
Yep.
Cool. So what do you summon?
I think for this case, it'll be some Probably either like a crow or raven, like a dark bird,
Okay,
be more likely to be
sounds good. See, summon a little
blending in the
little
darkness.
bird. That'll go out ahead of you. And the goal with the bird is to kind of scout out and see what's around the town.
Yep.
Okay. I'll say. Let's do a perception check with. It looks like a Raven stat block does exist.
That's a long description.
Yeah. Let me open up the Raven stat block here. Okay, so let's roll a perception check with a Raven. I'm going to go ahead and roll it for you since I've got the stat block open, and it uses the Raven stats instead of your own. I'll just drop that in chat for you all. Hopefully that revealed to everybody properly.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so you got the Raven skill check, got a 9, unfortunately. Not super high. But it still flies around and you can see the town a little bit. There's a couple buildings still up, and there's a wagon that's mostly rotted. It's just like basically the frame of the wagon is there. It looks like it used to be a covered wagon at some point, but that's mostly torn up and just scattered to the wind and stuff. It's all rusty and old. Everything about this place is old. And actually, as you get a little closer with the Raven, you can see that there's like, now that it's getting a little bit closer to night and it's getting a little colder out, there's like a little bit of low mist that just kind of clings in the air and covers the ground around this place. It's pretty spooky. It's a ghost town, and it's not like a western like dry ghost town. This is like a little bit swampy around a river ghost town. Everything's just kind of covered in a.
So we have an idea of weather patterns.
Yeah, it's fall at this point. I would say it's autumn.
Okay, so we could probably sleep through the night without a fire if we didn't want to make one for light.
Yeah, I'd say you could. It wouldn't be the most comfortable, but you could do so. Since you all have sleeping gear that would keep you decently warm.
Do I need?
Soren normally just sleeps in a tree.
That's fair.
Do I need heat?
You are not resistant to cold, but so I'd say getting cold is probably still uncomfortable for you.
Okay.
It probably makes some of your metal it creaks and groans and stuff when the temperature changes too much, something like that.
It would be one of those waking up in the morning and your knee cracks.
Yeah, exactly. Some of your robot parts like shift around a little bit because they're not the right size because they've changed shape, changes in temperature. Also everybody make sure to eat food, take off a ration if you haven't already. But yeah, so that's the state of the town. Would you guys want to get in there and camp, or camp on the edge of it, or camp just outside of it, or what's the plan?
First, anybody casting Goodberry, or are we feeding ourselves?
Oh yes, you do have a hurdy-gurdy. I forgot to give it to you. If you want to add just an item called hurdy-gurdy, that's fine.
I will. I'll cast. Oh, you have no available for soul spell slots.
If your spell slots are at 0, just reset them real quick, because that's
Okay.
Consider that a bug. Because they're fresh characters. They technically have never taken a long rest yet, but they should have full spell slots.
Oh, mine was just 0-0, so I overrode it.
Yeah, exactly. Just bump that up to what it should be.
So I would not really care whether we sleep in the town or outside of it, but probably not in a house with the state of the other buildings around here.
What, you're saying most houses don't have sunroofs?
It's hard to have a sunroof when you don't have a roof.
Yeah, from
They just
experience,
retracted.
things like to live in corners, especially when the corners are made of wood. So I'd rather not be in a building in case somebody's decided to make a home there. Just preference.
Understandable.
We can find a nice solid rock to build a tent camp around. That would be nice.
Sounds good to me. Oh, that's not where it goes. Oh.
All right, so you guys find a
Works.
little place just outside of town then. I'll say Zinro rolled super well in survival earlier. We'll just let that carry on, and you're able to find a pretty good dry spot to camp for the evening. Cool. So we'll let those perception checks go through now. You guys did not make a fire. You're near town, but not in it. And your perception checks were a 10 and 15 for the first watch. So you guys watch the sun set, and it begins to get dark out. And Darbeck, you do not have dark vision, correct?
I don't.
I
But that would be in
think-
features, right?
It would be
Did we fully decide whether we weren't going to make a fire?
that's
thought
up to
we-
you. If you want to consider it still, that's fine. I believe so. Darbeck, that would be in senses, which is underneath your skill checks on the left side of the main back page.
If we can find some dry wood, we can make a fire, but that'll attract hunting creatures. So trade-off.
I do
See
not
in the
have
dark?
vision.
Hmm?
Yeah, so Darbeck does not have dark vision, so it might be tricky for him to supply watch at night. But he can still help with hearing things, I guess.
Well,
But with a
You guys
fire,
want
you
a
could at least
fire?
see a little ways, because yeah.
what?
Would not hurt to have a fire.
All right, now we just need some wood. I
Alright.
have a tinder, so we can start one. Just need wood to keep it going.
I'll go ahead and say that's pretty much easy enough as well. Zinro, with the excellent survival check earlier, blowing away any kind of DC I would have set for the day for travel. We'll just let that handle travel, finding camp, and setting. We'll include that all in kind of one big travel roll for the day. So you're able to find some
Alright.
wood and start a nice campfire that'll keep you warm for the evening and give you a little bit of light so you can see what's around you. So, with those perception checks, as it gets dark out, you actually have some light, and you're able to see anything that would be getting close to you. But over your couple hours of watch, nothing does. It's quiet out here, it's dark, and the only real sound is like the wind rustling through the leaves that are now on the ground because it's autumn. The occasional howling of it going through the mostly dry trees in the area. Occasional sound of some wildlife hopping by, whether it's some frogs on the bank of a river nearby and such, just calling out to each other. But nothing approaches you. And so second watch was Soren? Right?
I think so. I have third.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Soren, Panyana, and Zandre. So Soren and Darbeck. Darbeck, as you settle into your sentry state, you guys can decide what you're doing for perception here. Actually, I'm gonna say because you're in sentry state, you can't move, so you probably can't assist Soren. So either Soren assists Darbeck, or you both make separate rolls here.
I'll just make my own roll.
All right.
Ah, that was a poor choice.
Do I make a roll
Yes.
normal?
One normal roll. You just can't take like the help action on Soren because you can't take actions right now.
You know what? If you add them together, it's a reasonable roll.
True, actually.
The inactive person sees better. Oh no.
You know what? It really would have been better if I actually had gotten down from the tree when I started my watch, because all these leaves are obstructing my view.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
actually just saw a rat and needed to eat.
Ooh, can I add a ration?
I believe somebody cast good berries, so nobody needs ration to have consumed rations.
Oh,
But yeah, so you guys are sitting here, just keeping watch, and again, it's pretty quiet out tonight. But at a certain point of the evening, Darbic, you notice something out of the corner of your eye. Just a little bit of motion that seems out of place. And then you look at it and there's nothing there, of course, but it was strange. It was almost like you saw somebody, something. A man, in the dark. A figure against the cold landscape, the mist behind it. But once you actually turn your eyes in that direction, which you can only barely do, you can't turn your head, so you're just like straining your eyes off to the corner. Nothing's there.
Wait, what? Owls can move their eyes, but not their head?
Darbeck.
Other one.
Darbeck.
Oh, it's like since Soren. I'm like,
No, Darbeck is locked in place right now, but he can still see, so I'm just gonna
got
assume
you.
he moves
Okay.
eyes.
And I feel like with him being able to go into sentry mode, he probably would have gotten like situated behind everyone else to see everyone
Makes
because he
sense.
can't move his head.
So yeah, you thought you saw something moving in the mist, but
how long are
Trick of the light
the
could be.
watches?
2 hours.
Okay, so I'll be in a trance for 2 of the watches. Like, right? That's your plan?
Yeah, you'd probably be in a trance right now, actually. 'cause
Okay.
you
Yeah,
just
that's
took your
fine
watch
for you to
before this.
choose. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm probably like moderately not paying attention at all.
Yeah, I mean, while you're in a trance, it's pretty hard for you to keep watch, I'm pretty sure, right? Like you're...
Oh yeah, I doubt I could. Somebody could probably like call my name and I'd be like, okay. But I don't think I'd notice anything.
You're semi-conscious, meditating, and you can dream in the state. So I'm going to assume you're not really super aware of your surroundings as far as keeping watch goes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, you saw that, Darbeck. You want to do anything about that, or are you just going to assume it was a trick of the light?
I'm going to assume it was just a trick of the light.
All right. So otherwise, your watch passes uneventfully, and Soren never knew a thing. So, Queniana, you were woken up by Soren at some point. It's your turn to take watch. Another one from Darbeck as well, please.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Classic.
You fall on your face and you still can't move.
Can we just down onto his eyes since it is fallen off?
Queniana, you're sitting here keeping watch. The fire's popping and crackling. There's, again, the gentle sounds of the wind through the trees nearby. And the mist is just gently making shapes in the air as it is pushed along. And it's getting thicker as it gets later in the evening here and as it gets colder. And as the morning dew would be settling, and it's just joining the mist as well.
Do any of the shapes resemble humanoids, or it's just wind in the mist?
That seems like wind in the mist. And, you know, your eyes play tricks on you when you're nervous, and you're the only one really truly awake right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, from behind you, something wet, thick, and fleshy slaps into you.
Wow, those are not good adjectives
They
all
are
put together.
not. No, they are not at
siree.
all. That is,
To get
I
worse
don't
with
know.
that.
you are currently surprised, so we'll just give it 1 second here.
Okay.
It's going to get a round of combat in against you, because you're surprised by it. It snuck up on you.
Nothing.
Actually, go ahead and just roll me whatever your initiative modifier is real quick. So just dexterity probably, to see if you manage to get a yelp off in time, because that would be how the surprise condition would work here. It rolled an 18, so it's a pretty high number to beat.
Oh my god.
If you can roll an 18 or higher on your dexterity, I'll allow you to get a bit of a yelp out as it's attacking you here. All right, unfortunately. This
Hope you guys
thing.
playing Dark Souls music.
Yeah, I wish I had music right now. I unfortunately did not get that quite off in time. Something, and I'll actually go ahead and just so we can all be clear on what is in play at the moment, I'm gonna drop an image of it in the chat. This
What?
monstrosity has wrapped itself around Queniana and is like covering her mouth and trying to like drag her away, and it hits you twice for a total of hits you twice, then grapples you for a total of 12 bludgeoning damage, and you are currently let's see, you are blinded and unable to breathe as you're
Oh
being
my God.
dragged away. But I'll say at this point it's your turn, and you can try to force your way out if you want, or you can try to make a yell if you want. Those are some of your options in addition to your normal actions.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna try and yell.
Okay. I'll say then to try and just get your mouth free and yell, this will be a strength saving throw at advantage.
Okay.
Just to try and force its little tendrils away from your mouth so that it's not like keeping you from shouting.
Fucking wonderful.
All right, that is plenty. This thing is not super strong. Unfortunately, with the adrenaline obviously rushing through you right now, you manage to just pull the thing off your face and you wake the others up. So I'm gonna have everybody actually roll for initiative now. And
Woo!
let's see. If I view this scene, I do that. I know we said you guys found a spot a little bit out of town, but just for the sake of things here, I'm gonna drop us in this map that was already ready anyways, and just put you guys off to the side of it. And go ahead and activate that, and drop you on the fields. Hopefully y'all can see with some dark vision. If you can't, let me know.
Ooh.
It says I do not own a token with vision on the screen.
Yeah, he's moving us. Oh,
it
it did that for me, but now I can see.
Do you now? It might not have originally because I pulled you here too early.
Okay, I can
Maybe refresh or something too.
be a very shadowy version of some structures.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some vision.
And this,
There's a
if you don't have dark vision, I'll check that in a second. But also this light radius should be, we're gonna say, it's a campfire. It's pretty big.
yeah,
and-
I have dark vision and then some.
Yes, you should have 120 feet of vision, so it should be far beyond the campfire. But it could be pretty dull and gray because it's just dark vision. It's
Okay,
not.
yeah.
Can we see the thing?
Oh wait, did you take like the devil's sight thing, or is that just your gnome vision?
No, it's just gnome vision.
Okay, so it's gray, shades of gray and stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
you guys all wake up from this scream, and the thing is here trying to drag Queniana away. And let's go ahead and roll for initiative here.
Woo!
Oh,
Damn,
there
that
we
went
go.
down the line.
Darbeck is
Back to back nat ones. He takes that inactivity seriously.
Yes, so.
I gotta get my random name generator up for reasons.
All right. So Let's see here. Why can't?
We need initiative.
I know why. Yeah, I think we still need initiative for Soren. That is true. I need to give the camera permission over various characters here. There we go. Cool. Bear with me while we get all this set up. There's some things that I neglected. Also, yes, Soren, if you could go to your character sheet and hit the initiative button, or go to the combat tracker and hit the
Oh, sorry.
All good.
I hit it earlier and it told me I was too early.
Yes, that can happen as well. So there's a big map here, but I put you guys on the edge of it because you said you weren't quite in town. And this thing that you can see from your campfire is trying to pull Quiniana away. And we're going to start with Quiniana's turn. I'll say, even though you just shouted, Quiniana, it's your turn again. You get a whole new action because you managed to wake everybody up. And due to the way that probably surprised the boneless, since you managed to break free from its grasp a little bit. So what you doing?
I am going. Let's see. Break free or add armor? Break free.
Makes sense. So if you're trying to break free, that is... Let me double check again. Sorry, just making the light a little prettier. It is got you in its crushing embrace at the start of its turn, not your turn. You would have taken damage, but you're breaking free early. Yes, give me a strength saving throw at the start of your turn.
All right.
All right, unfortunately, at the start of your turn, you are still grappled by this thing and it's still dragging you away, but you still have your action.
Okay, so I have my full action and whatever else.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Hex on the thing.
All right. Which ability score are you targeting?
It doesn't look too strong. Would I know anything else about it, or?
I would say to try and identify it in mid-combat would take an action normally, because there are subclass features of other classes that can allow you to identify things and learn their weaknesses as actions. To do a mental check, do I know something about this creature? Those features could reduce it to a bonus action, things like that. So it's normally an action to try and make a check like that. You want to try and identify something about
it. I'm going to put a hex on dexterity.
All right, so if it tries to make any dexterity checks, that will be at disadvantage. What you got next?
Let's see. And for my action, why is it? What happened to my spell book? Oh, there we go.
There you go.
I'm going to cast Mage Armor.
All right. So that's already activated on your character sheet. For reference, if you click on your
Oh, okay.
class.
Never mind. I think I'm gonna cast Vicious Mockery at it. Since I can talk.
I'd say since you can cast Mage Armor at will, it's pretty reasonable that you'd probably cast it every time it ran out, just as the habit. So it's probably pretty reasonable to consider that's passive.
Sorry, didn't mean to cast it so many times. Yeah.
So Vicious Mockery, that is a Wisdom saving throw it must make. It rolls an 8 and it fails its saving throw. Go ahead and roll that damage.
Okay.
You ain't got no bones.
You ain't got no bones. Hey. Oh, 1 psychic damage. But fortunately, still applies the rider effect, which is it has disadvantage on its next attack, which could be huge.
Yeah.
All right, so you may pass your turn to the next player if
Alrighty.
you are done.
How do I pass my turn?
If you have the combat tracker open, or I can do it for you. Those are like arrows to pass turn or things like that.
Okay. Oh, combat tracker. Okay, there we go.
Yep. And any of the windows in Foundry, by the way, you can right click to have them pop out into like a separate window next to the chat instead of
Mhm.
overriding.
Yeah, I always do that. It's my fave.
It's a solid feature. Sandri, you're up. You just woke up
Right.
to Gweniana's screaming and this thing dragging her away.
All right. Well,
She
Also,
is
for flavor, Quanyana's pretty ripped up. She's
grappled and prone.
grappled,
man.
prone, and missing chunks of skin from struggling with this thing.
Oh, actually, also it's covering your face too, so you are also where is it? Blind.
all right. See, well, the old
And
man's gonna
choking.
wake up.
Because it's covering your mouth.
Oh, I thought Is it still covering your mouth?
You broke free to scream, but it's like still actively trying to choke you to death. So it's
Okay,
Dick.
lovely.
All right. Andrew's waking up and going, "What the fuck? Can't you let me get some sleep?" Stops, sees this, and goes, "Ugh, fucking K." And we're going to just want to check a couple of things. We're gonna start with the bonus action of this.
all right. Excellent.
I'm not sure if I'm reading it right.
So-
It says on the subsequent turn, so I'm assuming that like
So the
going forward, I use this as the bone. I can use this attack, right?
yes, that is correct. So this turn you enter the starry form using your starry form feature, but on subsequent turns you'll be able to use your attack roll from the starry form.
Just wanted to make sure that since it had the attack damage thing up, but
What's your wisdom modifier? Dang.
It's pretty good. It's
Yeah,
like having an
and-
extra bow.
and then to start, we are going to cast Guiding Bolt onto a boneless monster blob.
Go for it.
Right. Attack. 14. Does a 14 hit?
A 14 is indeed a hit. Yes.
Right. Damage.
Oof.
14.
Nice
Wow.
damage. And the next person that hits this thing has advantage on their attack roll. Thanks to Guiding Bolt's feature.
And
It's now glowing
God.
too. It is glowing and sparkling as Guiding Bolt is guiding the way for any of your strikes.
it's a big old hit here sign.
Indeed.
All right. That should do it for my turn.
All right. Actually, before Zinro, before you take your turn, while you all have your attention focused to the south, something else pops up. That same shadowy figure you saw in the mists before now comes back out of the mists, and it was spotted by Darbeck. It does not like that, and it is going to reach into Darbeck with its spectral, shadowy tendrils, and it is going to strength drain.
Sick.
Cool.
So Darbeck, this again surprised you. That is a 20 to hit. Does that beat your armor class?
Yeah.
Okay. You take 12 necrotic damage,
Ah.
and your strength score is temporarily reduced by 3. as it is draining the life from your body as you are trying to wake up here.
Temporarily.
Just remember what it is now, because it'll go away next time you finish a rest, which will be pretty soon.
Okay, -3.
Yep, -3 to your strength, and just remember what it was originally. And I will put that in the proper place where it goes. Its initiative value I rolled privately was 16. There we go. That was its turn. Now it is Zinra's turn.
Gato. Okay, so my first question is using my bees to do things like a free action, essentially?
No.
Or is it like...
So...
Because it just says...
Okay, I see what you're saying. The Gathered Swarm feature?
Yeah.
It says... it's kind of like your Stunning Strike on Monk, right? It's like when you hit with an attack, you can do this thing for free. So it's not like you can just do things with your bees whenever for free, but there's specific things like when you hit with an attack, you can do some extra bee things, or you can take an action to use your bees to like try to grab something with the bee swarm thing, the swarming hand. So the 3 things you can do are do extra damage with your bees on an attack, try and push something with the bees on an attack, or push yourself with bees when you attack something else.
Okay, so it has to do with if I like successfully land an attack?
Correct.
And then, like, what does it, like, what resource does it use? Or is it just one time per
free.
turn?
Once per turn, you can just do one of those 3 things.
So if I successfully attack the boneless, and try to use it to push them, will it just push Kuniana with the boneless because she's grappled still? Or will it push the thing away from her?
Because she's grappled by it, if you push it, it would push both, yeah.
Okay, so then there's no point. That is why I was asking.
Makes sense.
Okay, well, what am I gonna do? We're gonna bop over next to it, and then attack with our short sword. Clickety clackety. 17.
Did you roll at a...
That's a hit. It would be at advantage if you want to try and confirm the crit.
So like I just do it again.
Yep, just roll it, just hit attack again and see if you get a natural 20. Unfortunately not. You did roll very high though. 23 is a hit.
Okay, so the damage, and then I'll add 1d6 bees.
1d6 bees?
So 15 damage.
Fucking max damage.
Oh, it's
both
max
your rolls.
damage.
Damn.
6 bees.
All right, this thing is barely hanging on after that. You can tell that immediately.
Okay, so that was like just my action.
Oh wait, actually, I did the math wrong. You
Plus dead.
Yeah, you hit it.
Do
Go
I
ahead and
have-
explain how your bees kill it, because your bee damage is what put it over the edge of the attack.
Okay, so I'm making this up as I go, but I had the idea of the swarm of bees is they are on the longsword on the like flat edges with all of their stingers, basically making it almost like a chainsaw of bee stingers.
Nice.
If that makes sense. So they're kind of just moving around and like walking and stuff with like the business end out. So it just shreds him.
That makes sense.
Does it though?
I think it makes sense. They're magic bees.
Whatever they want.
But thankfully your bees are
Alright.
smart enough not to magic saw through Queniana, and you free Queniana from the boneless that was pulling her away. So you get a
Nice.
gasp of fresh air. And you're no longer blinded.
Yay!
Okay. Okay, so then I still have a bonus action?
Correct.
And can that just be a regular attack?
Because you are you have 2 short swords, right?
Yes, I didn't really know how that works.
Yes, so we'll go over that now. Because you have 2 short swords, that means both your hands are occupied, right? You can't do other things with one of your hands for now, which can make spellcasting awkward, but we'll get to that if it comes up. It might come up, it might not. It depends on your spells. But because you have 2 swords in your hands, that means you can make a 1 extra sword attack as a bonus action. Yeah.
Okay. If I wanted to swap to the longbow, could that be like a bonus action and then I'd like use it next turn? Or like how does that work with like swapping weapons? I've just never had to because I'm used to using fists.
Yeah, no worries. Technically, right now, what you could do is put 1 sword. You can swap 1 weapon per turn for free without using any actions. So you could, like, put your right hand sword away and take out your bow with the right hand, and then next turn you could like put your left hand sword away and use the bow. Something like that.
Okay, well, I still have 30 feet of movement, so I'm probably just gonna run on over to the shadow.
That works too.
And then we'll attack with the other sword. Clickety clackety.
That is not a hit, unfortunately.
Ooh. And
you rush over with your sword, going to swing at it, trying to get it away from your friend who's getting life drained right now. And you swing your sword and it just kind of goes right through the misty, shadowy form of it and doesn't hit anything.
with the shocked Pikachu face, I'll end my turn.
All right. Before it goes to the dead boneless, actually, something else has been lurking in the shadows. Behind this wall over here, crouched down, is a skeletal figure in a robe who is going to lob vials of acid at you guys.
Can I?
If you have a reaction that triggers in this, you may.
I don't know if I can do this right now because I don't know if I saw him before, but
I will check that real quick. Between yourself
Alright,
and an attacking enemy, when you're attacked by a creature within 30 feet of you that you can see. Yeah, that's fine. He jumps out and throws acid at you. So you impose disadvantage on it, right? That's all it is?
yeah.
Okay, sick. So he's gonna roll at disadvantage to throw acid at you. Does an 11 hit you?
It does not.
All right, he's gonna do it again, and I believe it's only a disadvantage on the first attack roll. Yes, the one attack.
Yeah.
You react to one
Okay.
attack. The second attack, actually, and he was stealthed from you, so he should be at a normal roll for that. So the first roll there was the lower roll, so that's fine. So he did roll an 11 naturally. The 15 to hit is the second attack, though.
Oh, that one does get me.
All right, you're gonna take 9 acid damage.
Ow.
As this thing then ducks back under the wall and tries to hide from you all. Successfully. And you don't know where he is. Now it's your turn, Soren.
I can't see it.
You
But it
go
can see
looking
me.
for it if you want, but it might take you some time to find it.
I'm gonna tell it to go away.
Ah.
And I don't know if the shadowless counts or not.
You present your holy symbol and speak a prayer, censuring the undead. Each undead must make a wisdom saving throw. If the creature fails, it is turned for 1 minute, or until it takes any damage. Wisdom saving throws all around. You actually don't know the results of that dude, because he's out of sight. But the
He
shadow...
didn't break stealth when he...
it didn't break stealth from being hit by this, no. He just resisted it.
Got it.
The shadow appears to barely resist it with a 13 on the die.
No,
Just barely. Sorry, so close. Like if it rolled one lower, you would have gotten
I'm glad I'm being useful.
it. Anything else, Soren?
Oh, I guess if I have like a bonus action spell,
You might.
like this one. I guess I will cast Spiritual Weapon.
Ah, very nice. Where would you like to place your and? Yeah, where you want to drop that?
Gotta find the draw thing.
I was gonna drop it for you. Just hover over where you
Oh, sure. The shadow.
like next to it, like maybe like here, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so it becomes like a summoned object that you can continually attack with. So if you want it to hit the shadow, then right next to it should work. Yeah. So go ahead and make that attack roll. Oh yeah, that'll hit absolutely. Right.
Well, can't.
What does Soren's spiritual weapon look like, by the way? What do you summon?
Also bees.
If you want,
Not also bees.
also bees.
He worships Milil, so probably a lyre, and it just hits them.
Nice. Okay, just bonk, and it's got probably that discordant sound of strings as it hits as well, like the twang.
Oh wait, no, sorry, a giant music note.
There we go, giant music note. It just gives it a nice bonk. But unfortunately, this one again, the shadow's kind of slippery. You kind of slide right through it, and you do some damage to it, but it's still there. Anything else, Soren?
I guess I will gain some altitude, so it's harder to lob acid at me.
All right, that makes sense. So if you right click your token, you'll notice there's a little up arrow and a box that says 0. You can put your altitude in there.
But not the little fire thing. Got it.
Yeah, that's lighting a torch or a lantern or whatever, just like a light source on your character.
Got it.
All right.
Oh no, I fly 30 feet, not 35. All right.
There you go. 30 feet up in the air. Perfect.
That's really high too.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's above some of these trees. Starbeck, you're up.
Woo!
Hey, so how does sneak attack work? There's this little blurb that says you don't need advantage on the attack roll if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it.
Correct.
So since Zinro is here, I get sneak attack?
That's correct. If you land the attack, you get sneak attack on this hit.
Ooh, hog.
What are you
Yes.
What are you wielding for weapon?
2 daggers.
Oh, perfect. Okay, go for it.
Roll the
That'd be solid.
dagger.
That is a hit.
Cool. Damage, normal. And then roll sneak attack, right? Roll sneak attack,
That's
damage, normal.
All right. Bop and Bop. Everyone's been swinging at this thing and not really making much work on it, but as it's draining the life from you, you turn around and just stab your dagger right through the middle of it, and it kind of looks down, and this actually seems to cause some impact to it. And it clutches at its chest for a second before, like, it doesn't make sounds. It kind of like looks like it's trying to snarl at you, but no sound comes out at all. It's kind of bearing shadowy claws. It's angry. Anything else, Starbeck?
I'm gonna use my bonus action to attack with my second dagger.
Go for it.
Stab, stab.
Oh yeah, absolutely a hit.
Stabby, stabby.
And then, do I get sneak attack on both attacks?
Nope, only once per turn.
Okay.
Do you get sneak attack? But you do 5 damage. So go ahead and describe how you describe the demise of this shadow.
I really think I would just turn around and kind of just stab it. And I saw where it got hurt the last time, and I would just take my second dagger and just stab it in even further.
Awesome. All right, so you just double dagger it right into the center of the chest, and it goes down. It just fades into the mist and disappears. So we'll go ahead and just yeet these, and then anything else, Starbuck? Would you like to move or anything while it's still your turn?
I'm gonna move over here
All right.
just because I know that thing was over there, and I'm currently chilling on 8 health. So.
Quiniana, you're still prone because you're being dragged away, but you're no longer blinded. You can breathe. You're no longer grappled. You're free again.
All right.
What you doing?
I'm going to use half of my 25 feet to get up.
All right.
And then I am going to use my bonus action to cast Shadow Blade.
Nice. Okay. So you're now concentrating on that.
Augurs Quiniana's first real steps in the initiative.
Hog. So I'll go ahead and put concentrating on you. There we go.
And
See, Shadow Blade. Can you throw Shadow Blade? I can't remember. It's got the it has the finesse, light, and throne properties.
yeah, so I can throw it if I want, but I can't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't see anything to throw right now.
Yeah, there was a dude throwing acid at your friends earlier, but he ducked down behind the stone wall on your right somewhere.
Fucking rude.
I'm going to hold my action and throw my blade at the next enemy I see.
Sounds good. Pretty clear action and reaction. Would you like any movement?
Give me a sec. I'm within 20 feet of where I last saw this thing, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, so I'm just gonna stay where I am.
All right. Sanjay.
I love those noises when you change turns.
So
Yeah.
this guy is behind the wall somewhere. We don't really have any guess, right?
Yeah, hard to tell where he went because like he stealthed over there.
So would dropping fairy fire right around here.
All right. You throw fairy fire down, hoping you throw that dust out everywhere and hope that something over there will start glowing. But unfortunately, as the spell disperses, there's only the light of your campfire in that area. Nothing starts glowing.
Well, bonus
Am I supposed to?
actioning.
What's up,
I
Ryan?
didn't mean to. I didn't do that.
Am I supposed to have fairy fire too? Is that just like a base level spell?
It's a spell you could have taken. Yeah, I think you did. Oh no, I think that came with your subclass. Your subclass gave you fairy fire, and might have just been fairy fire actually. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you get some things from your subclass for free.
Interesting. Nice.
Anything else, Sandri?
I just want to check on one spell real quick. Make sure I read it right.
You have already cast an action spell on this turn, so spells are pretty tricky at
I
this
have
point.
one cantrip that's a bonus action. I just kind of wanted to
Okay,
see if it would be worth doing.
that's fair enough.
I don't think it is, so I'm gonna end turn. Where did that thing go?
All right,
There it is.
Zinro.
How much movement will it take to climb over? Is this like a short little wall or what?
Yeah, it's a short little wall. I'd say it wouldn't take you any extra movement really. 'Cause I'd say the short characters, it might be just a quick little check to see if it costs my extra movement, but it's like waist height for you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna
You can just, vault it.
vault it. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Yep.
Don't see him. Anti-pog. 30, 35. Still don't see him. Anti-pog.
Not quiet.
Necropog.
Dang.
No idea where he went.
Hmm. So let's see. Fairy Fire, 20-foot cube. I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire in a similar attempt to try to find him. Can you center it like over like I guess here?
It'll let you place it once you cast the spell.
Oh, does it?
Mhm.
That's cool. First level, consume spell slot.
There's a place measured template button, or you might already be on your cursor ready to drop.
Yeah. I guess I don't see him.
Nothing shows up. Nothing starts glowing in that area.
Lame sauce. Okay. Can I hold my one of my short swords?
You already used
In
your
case-
action, unfortunately.
Okay, so then bonus action, I can't
No,
do
so
anything.
yeah, the way
It's like holding attack counts as an action.
yes, yeah, holding
Okay.
your attack counts as an action, and basically
Um.
with two weapons, you can take your action and bonus action together to make two attacks. You can't just make one bonus action attack.
Okay.
All right. So you guys threaded the needle because he pops up from here, literally one
my
square
God.
north of where you dropped your fairy
Oh
fire.
my God.
I'm not
I'm
even
surprised
kidding.
He just barely not in vision because I
Just
did have
barely.
like 5 more feet, and I missed him with my.
Well, he was hidden as well, so it's not like you just
Yeah.
see him. He actually kind of
Oh.
emerges from the wall because he's got like magic shadow shit too. So he pops up out of the side of the wall that he was kind of compressed down into, and kind of leaps over this wall here and throws out acid towards Zandri.
My held action would trigger now.
It would.
Did I cast that already or no?
Shadowblade is kind of an unfortunate one in that it's probably easiest if you just remember the roll and type it in or use the dice buttons down below. Otherwise, it's going to keep on asking if you want to use the spell slot for it every turn, every time you attack with it, which is annoying. But, so at this level, you just have second level. It is 2d8 plus whatever attack ability you're using, probably dexterity.
What do I have to use to hit then?
Dexterity and proficiency. So this will be a +4.
Okay, I'm just gonna
And then it'll
build.
be
Okay, dexterity, ability check, and then I'll add.
sounds good. You yeet the shadow sword. And actually, that hits either way, but he is currently within bright light. Never mind. I was gonna say the shadow trait of Shadowblade would trigger, but not this time because the campfire. 22 does hit, so you can roll that 2d8 plus your dexterity modifier.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice weapon because it's made of magic.
Oh, that didn't do the thing.
If you there's kind
sorry.
of dice buttons down beneath the thing, which might be easy to click
okay.
and
Yeah.
just custom make a formula that way, which is kind of easy.
Yeah. Cool. Two. There we go.
All right, -12. That was a good hit as he leaps over and starts to throw acid out towards Zandri. Then your shadow blade just kind of pierces in like through his cloak and kind of graces along his bony neck, and does a bunch of psychic damage, I believe, because it's like an illusory blade. But Zandri, the two attacks on you were 19 and 22 to hit, respectively.
All right, those both hit.
Before that's
That's fine. No, I don't mind. I don't mind if you.
all right, I'm gonna
retcon
do
a
the
little
thing.
bit. When you are attacked, Zandri is not you, unfortunately.
All right. For some reason, I thought I could do that with friends.
That might
All right, never
be
mind.
a higher level version of it or something. Because that sounds familiar to me as well. But it does say when you are attacked on the reaction.
All right.
Good looking out though, just in case it did work. So Zandri, you're gonna be hit with this is 2 attacks for a total of 12 acid damage.
That's not how you do math.
And then this dude is gonna attempt to hide from you all. Yet again. Ooh. Unfortunately, he did not beat Zinro's passive perception, so Zinro, you see him skedaddle over here into the ruins that way.
Gosh, he's so fast.
He is very fast, and he's very sneaky and
Oh,
shadowy.
soing, Scoob!
But you see him disappear just around that corner, like around the house
Around
too,
the-
right there. Soren, I'll say, would you have pointed that out as he ran, you think?
Maybe like a quick that way, like pointing at like that particular alley.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll say Soren, you know where this guy is then too. You can see him there. He's just by the building down below you.
Over here.
Yes. Yeah, you might have to reorient yourself a little bit because the house is in the way from where you are currently. But
Yeah. All right. Well, first I'm gonna move my my music notes towards it as much as I can, which is 20 feet.
20 feet to right here.
All right.
There we go.
And then I will fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's a building. 6. There you are.
Found him.
And then I will Scorching Ray.
Ooh, excellent.
So I will make 3 ranged spell attacks.
That is correct.
1,
Oh!
2, 3.
Excellent. That is 3 hits. 1 is a crit. So you might as well do here 8d6 fire damage, which is a fireball.
Nice. So it's like /R 8d6.
You see the little dice buttons beneath the chat as well. If you just click those, you can like
Beneath, yeah.
yeah, it'll like do the formula for you and stuff, which is nice. Then you'll never mess up the command because it just does it.
Well, I was really close though.
You are. Oh, that is
Nice.
just over what he had left. So, how does your
Oh my gosh.
torrent of flame murder this guy?
You see, I see nothing but flame, and then the flame dissipates, and there is nothing there except the hat slowly floating down.
Excellent. You completely melt away anything that remained here, and you guys are no longer in combat. Congratulations on your first successful combat of the campaign.
So I had a random question. I know I asked it in chat and it zoomed in on me, so I apologize. It did that anyway. How do health potions work for you?
It takes you an action, and you just glug, and it works. Even though you're
Yeah,
a
but
robot, it still does the thing.
Okay.
You can flavor it as like special chemicals or oil or something, probably.
Yeah, it's magic, and you're still a living thing, so it still works on you.
Okay. I was kind of confused, and I was like, wait,
That's fair.
robot don't drink?
You're just filling up with premium.
Soren, can you roll me a perception check as well?
perception check. Yeah.
Yes, please. All right.
Oh, we're rolling real hot.
Real
tonight.
hot tonight. All right. So you murdered
We
that
can
guy.
fireball things. We can't do much else.
Yep. And unfortunately, even from your elevated position, I mean, there's not much campfire light here. It doesn't stretch very far into the town, even though you have pretty good dark vision. So.
Well, it's the fire it's the fireball, and then my eyes needed to readjust.
Exactly. Yeah, you still got that bright spot in your vision. You just can't see shit. All right.
Right. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I need a nap.
Just because it's been a while, what's the health recovery rule with resting?
When you long rest, you recover all of your hit points, and there is a long rest button on your sheet, but I'll tell you when to click that.
Yep. I just didn't remember because I know there's like hit dice and stuff. Like,
no worries. So hit dice you use on a short rest. If you're just taking like an hour to patch up your wounds and things, that's when you'd start rolling hit dice. Which can be really helpful because you can't always just take a full night's sleep in the middle of the day while you're adventuring. So having just an hour, a couple times a day, usually parties tend to take like an hour to just patch themselves up a little bit.
Is it alright if I healing word myself a couple times in case we have a part 2?
That also could make sense.
All right.
That's up to you. Anything else you guys want to do before you return to sleep? All right. I'll say, just for the sake of brevity, you guys get through the rest of your watches for the evening without issue, and it becomes morning.
Long rest.
And you may all take the benefits of a long rest, indeed. And look at that, the sun is rising over the town.
Is new day, yes.
And you can all see Hog.
Poggers. Puggy poggers.
And yes, real quick.
Is it a flavor thing that we don't have the like badly injured near death stuff?
What do you?
Or is that an option we should see?
Oh, that's a module Ashley has installed.
Okay.
It's an optional thing. If you guys ever want to know somebody else's status, you can just ask for it and I can tell you, or we can, if we can add a module, I can try to look into a module like that for next time too.
Yeah, no, I was just curious.
Yep, all good. That's just a thing Ashley had added for her campaign.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't take a lick of damage.
Yeah, some of you lucked out more than others in that one for sure. There was some real close stealth rolls too, like when only Darbeck saw the shadow in the night, it literally rolled exactly what he got. Like it rolled a 7. Like it's like so I barely saw it and it just disappeared. It didn't engage.
And it was one of those things that, like, contextually in my character, because he's an illusion person, he was just kind of like, it's just the lights.
Yep.
And then it sucked my strength away.
Indeed.
Yeah, Corniana spent that whole combat at 9 hit points.
Yeah, you got hit hard right at the start.
Yeah.
I was at 8 once the shadow showed up.
I
got
was
covered in acid.
kind of worried that I was going to have to roll a new character if it got another hit in.
You got a cleric in the party and a ranger. But
And I have
Yeah.
6 good berries left,
the
which insta raise you from being knocked out.
yeah, shadow, a skeletal alchemist, and a pile of skin attacked you tonight. But you vanquished all of them. And now it is the dawn of a new day, which is where we'll pick up from next time as you guys explore Witchway a little bit and see what you can find here. See if there's any more clues to this mystery you've stumbled on. This book that a raven delivered with no title and many missing pages. Will it lead you to treasure, or is it just evil beware?
Or lead us to a pile of skin.
It could, yeah, it did lead you to that. That's true. It actually did lead you to a pile of skin. That is very fair. So who knows what else it'll lead you to?
The treasure was the skin we found along the way.
Oh God.
I mean, there were also bones.
Oh, it was.
Mm.
They just
Oh,
weren't
wait.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This book is evil. Beware.
yeah. There
The
were
boss
bones.
is gonna be them Voltroning together into just a normal dude.
Yeah, there was a spirit, there were bones, and there was flesh. They just weren't all together.
What has this town done to people?
Yeah, that's where
They're
we'll finish
tearing
off for
them
the evening.
apart.
Thank you guys for joining me on the start of this adventure. I'm excited to see